Once when I was 17, I used to run. I used to run often. I used to run miles. But then I became a sane person and I stopped running. I'm just kidding. So I used to run, and this one particular day I was running, and I was running in the woods, kind of like a trail. It's like behind this building, and I kind of tripped over an object, and I looked down, and it was a cane, like a cane that someone uses to walk with, and it was in the shape of like a traditional candy cane looking shape. And I remember I picked it up, and my first thought was I wondered what it meant, right? Maybe there was no meaning. I just thought it was interesting because I didn't understand. It just doesn't happen often that you run and you find a cane. And then I wondered if it was a bad omen. I wondered if it was something bad's going to happen to me because of it. You find a cane on the ground. What is this foreshadowing? I don't know. I was just getting into just being curious about it. But that was like 16 years ago, and I figured out what the meaning was. It took me a long time, but I've discovered the meaning of it. And there was there's a story that Neville gave once where he said that in the back of his pocket he'd keep a little book of horoscopes to determine his success and failures. I've never done that before. I've actually never looked at my horoscope to justify failure in any regard or success. I've never looked at my horoscope like that. I never read it. But I thought that was interesting that he kept this little booklet in the back pocket just in case. And he said that he wasn't fully committed to the idea of imagination. And or it's like you see, the way life is that you first see something and it becomes what it is, right? A cane is something that someone uses when they either have a limp or they have a problem with their leg and they need a cane to walk correctly. And that's what it is. But when you get into more of a symbolic meaning, you start to realize what this cane actually means. The cane it is astrology. It is your horoscope. It is religion. It is these a bag of crystals that you carry with you. That's a cane. It's a spiritual cane in a sense. But the irony was that if I viewed it like a dream, now that actually happened. But if I viewed it like a dream, where I was running in a dream and I found a cane in a dream, right? I would be curious about what that means. But to me, I don't really see much of a difference between what it actually happening and it happening in a dream. To me, there's still a symbolic message here. But the irony is that I was running, right? So I don't need the cane because I'm running. My legs work fine physically. Everything's fine. So, but how crazy would it be if I started using that cane, right? So if I view myself, the runner, as a personification of imagination, and I view a cane as religion, then I can start to see how silly it would be for me to believe in an outside God. I view the cane as a false God that I'm using as a crutch. It's like I'm going to imagine something. I'm going to imagine myself a certain way, but I don't really believe that my imagination can do it. I don't believe it's capable. I'm going to go bow to something, or I'm going to go keep a little pamphlet, of a horoscopes in my back pocket just in case. I'm going to, I met somebody that had a bag of crystals. And you know what they told me one day? I knew this person, they used to always carry a bag of crystals with them. And one day they told me, they said, you know what? I carry these crystals with me everywhere, and they're supposed to calm you down, but I'm just always angry. It's like they don't work. That's what they said to me. Like your tarot cards, those are canes to me now. I see it that way. I no longer see it the way I used to see it. I no longer see a man using a cane. I see a false god that we use as a crutch because we don't actually give in and believe in our imaginations. We think that our imagination isn't capable. So Neville, over time, said that he had to let go of the horoscope. And he needs to let it go to realize he always could run. It'd be insanity if I started using a cane after that. If I come home and I'm just like using a cane, that'd be so weird after a run. But that is what we do mentally. We can run. We're running fine. We're imagining fine. We're believing in ourselves fine. And then something comes, at an early age or later in life that next thing you know, you're bowing to some sculpture. You're praying to something you don't even know, hoping something gives you whatever you needed, hoping it hears you, hoping it sees you, always hoping that, you're noticed, that the attention you're pouring onto it is acknowledged. Not understanding that your awareness is connected to your experience. There's nothing more intimate than God. That would be like asking man, what are you without self? What are you without awareness? It doesn't make any sense, right? You can't separate the dream and the dreamer. You can't just have a dream by itself without a dreamer. And so you need to recognize yourself as a dreamer that can run. And you no longer need these like crutches. You don't need a cane in life. You don't need one. Maybe physically, some people need a cane, but it's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about spiritually. You don't need one. You need to go to some church to pray. You don't need to go to a temple. You don't need to build a temple. You don't need to think your future's in the hand of somebody. It's in your palm for $20. I always found that interesting that Neville kept a pamphlet for a little while. It's like some part of us just doesn't want to accept. We want something external to us to be the thing that listens. And yet the imagination will show you actually being what you want. It will show you a preview, in a sense. It will literally show you without any hesitation. And yet we will keep a little pamphlet on us just to make sure, we'll believe in that. And so really we're always believing in something. But the point is that you never needed the cane in the first place. You never needed the cards. You never needed the palm being read for your future. Your future is within you. Your success is within you. And you can remind yourself by acknowledging that it's in here. It's inside. Whenever you need to remember that, whenever you need something, always remember it's within you. Always. The moment you think it's not within you, you're going to go outside. And the next thing you know, you're going to be bowing and praying to something you don't know. So I just wanted to give just a short talk on that. I do live streaming. I do one-on-ones, and my books are for sale in the description. You can find them there. But think about that next time. Ask yourself if you really need this cane. Do you really need the cane right now? The next time you're going to go outside to believe in something, see it as a cane. Wouldn't it be crazy to start using it if you don't need it?